So, Mama, we are back with part two. Mama, is there anything that you did not say in the last Narrowcast that you would like to mention before we really get into the biblical side of what we spoke about in the first part of the Narrowcast?
Yes, I would like to share. Hello, everyone. I would like to share. I've had several encounters with my ancestors from the other side coming to me in dreams, but this one was a physical visitation. And it was 2015. It was right after my mom had passed. She passed in 2014. We took my mom from Philadelphia, where we were raised, to Charlotte, North Carolina, where my brother had been living for 20 years. So after my mom had passed, a year after she had passed, I had knee surgery, so I was homebound. And I was laying in the bed with the ice machine on my leg, and I was halfway dozing. And so I was in the twilight of sleeping. And I felt a presence in the room. And so I looked around the room, and I saw my mother standing at the bedroom door. First, it frightened me, and then a calm came over me. And my mom was talking to me telepathically. Her mouth wasn't moving, and I was talking back to her. So we had this conversation, but I wasn't talking. There was no audible talking. And she was telling me some things, and I understood what she was telling me. And so this went on for about maybe two good minutes. And then my mom disappeared. And I laid there for a few minutes trying to wonder what just happened. But I didn't have anyone really that I could call on the phone and tell what's just happened to me. So I kept it to myself. I kept it to myself for a day or so, and then I called one of my mentors that was guiding me through the awakening, and told them about it. But that was a very powerful and very realistic to let me know that my mom's transition, she had transitioned over, but she came back to tell me something. So that was very, very powerful that day. And as I'm learning more about the ancestors' presence in our lives and here to guide and direct us, I really appreciate that I had that realistic moment of my mother coming back to tell me something that perhaps was not, I wasn't in a place before to receive what she would have said to me on the physical side. So she came back to tell me something after she had passed. So that was very powerful and very dear to me. And I often think about it. Since then, I've had visitations from my father, who passed away, and different ancestors that's on the other side. I've had visitations from them in dreams only, not in the physical like my mom did.
Oh, okay. Hold on, Mama. So can you repeat that again? You had, ever since then, you had a visitation with your mom. Well, hold on one second, Mama. Family, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to part two of this Narrowcast, Ancestral Visitations. This is Narrowcast 006, and this is part two of it. Yes, Mama, I would like for you to continue. Go ahead, Mama.
So it's real. The visitations that we have are real. The visitations that we have usually is them getting a message to us or answering a question that we have asked. So I honor my ancestors now because the ancestors are real. They are the angels that the Bible talks about, the angels of the Lord encamp about around us to those who fear him. So there's always someone around us. There's always an ancestor or a guide around us, I believe. And my ancestors have guided and directed me many times, and I depend on them now. I depend on them in my everyday life. From the time I wake up, from the time I go to bed, I can feel the activity. And the church has made us to be leery, afraid of this other world, the other world. And I'm no longer afraid or hesitant to receive counsel from them, to receive instruction from them. So yeah, that was my experience, and I honor that experience, and I embrace it now.
Right. So I would like to remind a lot of our viewers, especially brothers and sisters that we know, that the same church that brought you the Bible are the same people who control your school systems. And they are currently trying to get your children to accept certain degenerate sexual practices that the scriptures talks about. Okay, so let's put things into context. Okay, the same people who brought you the Bible are also the same people who are trying to get your children into degenerate sexual acts. So let that sink in for a second. When are you going to say, you know what? I need to examine everything these people give me, okay? Because everything these people give you, if they are people, okay, these entities, whatever they give you, it always comes with a cost. And it doesn't always favor you. Okay? So we've got to be very, 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 very clear. And you got to examine everything. Not just the things you're comfortable with. Okay? Examine everything. Because we tend to examine the things that we don't like, right? Things that we're uncomfortable with. And then accept those things that we are very, very comfortable with. Okay, so let's be real, So Mama, thank you again. Thank you for part 2. And as we promised, family, we're going to look at some scriptures. But before we get into scriptures, I just want Mama to finish her thoughts. You mentioned that. And I am super encouraged because I know you were hesitant, and for you to break down. Yes, that's very, very important because we seem to want to demean the very people we came from. It's like, okay, so the same people, obviously, yes. We're going to be judged for the things that we've done in this world while you were living, while you were in the body. Okay? We are very, very aware of that. But there seems to be a disconnect with the past, where we came from. You understand, Mama? It's like there seems to be...
very, 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 very much so. It's like the powers that rule right now, they want us to deny our past. They want us to deny our grandfathers. They want us to deny our fathers. They want us to deny our ancient way. They want us to deny our culture. They want us to deny the things that we have been doing for thousands of years before the colonizers, before the white man came and engrafted himself into our culture. They want us to deny everything that is normal to us and embrace the things that are not normal to the Bantus. So being in contact with our ancestors, we've been doing it for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
The Old Testament shows us how we had a close relationship with the angels that would come and talk to the prophets, that the angels that would come and talk to us and guide us. So right now, in this generation, which is the church's generation, they want us to deny the things that is normal to us as Bantus and normal to our culture. And that's why being here on the continent with our brothers and sisters on the continent, these rituals and some of these things are still being practiced around Africa. You know, not every African goes to church. A lot of Africans still practice their ancient ways, and I'm seeing it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And I embrace it and I honor it. You know, and I have a lot of Africans that teach me about their ancient culture, that teach me about their ancient rituals. And now I'm in a place of understanding. I can honor and understand it because I am here.
Yeah, it's it's just is such a paradox. It's weird. I find it, Mama. I find it very, 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 very weird because a tree cannot deny its roots. It won't be a tree. That's the order. A tree cannot stand if it doesn't have roots.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. And let me say this real quick. I sent you a picture of a tree, and this tree, they say this tree is over 500,000 years old.
Oh, yes.
I showed you the tree.
Yes, I remember. I remember that. Yes. Yes.
And the roots are so deep in this tree,
So deep.
But the roots are also set on top of the tree, close to the breadth of the tree. The roots start, and there they are, ancient. They're sitting up on the top, and pieces of the bark of the tree. I took a piece of the bark of the tree home because what the guide was telling me, this tree is thousands of years old.
Yes.
And this is one of the trees that people come and touch and they pray under. They have rituals under for thousands of years. And I felt so honored just taking a piece of this ancient tree and bringing it into my home because parts of this tree was touched by my ancestors. The prayer, and what he told me was the prayers that people, even now, even today, even hundreds of years ago, 500 years ago, they have come to this tree, not only to honor this tree, but send their prayers to this tree and pray. So I prayed in front of this particular tree, and it was a piece of the bark that fell off, and I took the bark and brought it into my home, and I set the bark on my altar as a sign of contact with my ancestors, a contact where this tree now, the piece of this tree sits on at my altar that I can touch, and perhaps some of the tears of my ancestors on these barks. So we are not only a ancient people, but we are a powerful people, and we need to start recognizing the things that Baba Mungu has given to us as his children, points of contact.
Yes.
And ancestors are a point of contact.
Yeah. You know, I mean, that's very powerful. Your experience of you that you've had with your mom is a very, very powerful experience. And for you, and for anyone to discount her experience with her mom, that's crazy. That's crazy. So
and you know, I've gotten strength where I will not allow anyone to demonize my experience with my ancestors.
Yes.
If you don't understand it, if you don't agree with it, move away from me and keep your mouth shut. Because I'm not going to allow anyone ever to come in my life and demonize my experiences with the spiritual realm.
Yes. You cannot have a future without the past. This is one of the reasons why our people are in the positions that we are in this reality. You're listening to a people that are looking to eradicate you. They're looking to finish you off. And you're paying attention to them, about your divinity. You're listening to a people who we can literally say they just appeared. They just appeared. They just got here. We listen to them though. A tree cannot be a tree without roots. It's not a tree. A people that does not reproduce themselves are not a people. They will not have a civilization. The reason we say it's a civilization is because we need to look back. We need to look back and say, okay, this is how our people used to be. But there is a people that we can look at, they only go far, so far. And then there is no more. We can't trace them further. We can't go back further. So we are an ancient people. We are an ancient. So I'm supposed to say, okay, yeah, those ancient people are evil. We don't want to look back. If you don't have a past, there's absolutely no future. Because go ahead, Mama.
You're so right, because the past has the answers for the future.
Yes.
I got that from Bishop Joshua Pamonga, one of the great voices of culture, ancestors, and our people as Africa. And I listened to him a lot because he grew up in the era when he grew up in the village. He grew up with his ancestors, his grandfather, his baba, and he teaches about the way who we are and the power that we possess as an African and as African people. And Africans, well, the modern Africans from the diaspora, we're ashamed of our culture. We're ashamed of the realization of who we are as Africans. And I embrace it. I'm anxious to learn more about it. I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm honored that I come from an ancient dynasty and ancient people. And that's why I talk about it all the time, because I am so proud to be an African woman from a strong but ancient people. It's nothing like it. It's nothing more glorious than knowing who you are and knowing that you are the first people of the earth. That's power right there. That's power right there.
Yeah. We're divine beings. That's what we are.
Divine beings.
We're divine beings. And a lot of our people are operating in fear. They are operating in fear.
Not only operating in fear, a lot of our people are operating in low vibrations, very low vibrations.
Yes, Mama.
They have no power. They have no power. They are walking in less power than they have already. So they're walking in no power. And the power that they're walking in, they can't change nothing. I told one of my friends, start calling on your ancestors to help you. Oh, I don't talk to ancestors. I don't believe in ancestors. Well, then you're going to stay right where you are.
But
the ancestors are here to help us. They are our guides. They are our guides. They encamp around us. They walk this earth. They know the things that we need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You're dismissing where you came from.
Oh, yes.
Right? And then at the same time,
so sad.
You're looking forward to go to where? That makes no sense. You're dismissing where you came from and you're looking forward to go where? Where are you going to? You see the entrapment, Mama? That's entrapment. Yeah. You're discrediting where you came from. But then you hope to go to where? Where are you hoping to go to?
You're hoping to go to up in heaven with white Jesus, don't you know?
Yeah, but you haven't been there. You know. Yes. You understand? You know where you came from because it was physical.
It's a confusing dichotomy. The story does not make sense.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Mama. A lot of our people operate in fear because fear is the lowest frequency.
The lowest vibration, and fear is the opposite vibration. Of faith.
Lowest vibration.
The lowest vibration, yes. The lowest vibration. I think that's why the church, and that's why the Roman Catholic Church has set up the church and set up all the churches in the world. You know, people say, well, I'm not Catholic. Well, actually you are. Because if you're Pentecostal, if you're a Baptist, if you're Seventh-day Adventist, if you're Jehovah's Wickedness, then you are Catholic.
Excuse me, guys.
You just have changed some of the rules and regulations of your church, but it all started with Roman Catholicism.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say do your homework. I'm going to say find someone that's ask Baba Mungu to show you the ministers online that is teaching the truth. Because people always say, read your Bible. Well, you can read your Bible and not learn nothing. People say, oh, do your research. Well, people don't know how to research.
Yeah.
We should ask Baba Mungu to send us the people, the teachers that he have ordained for this time in our existence. And when you ask him to send you the correct teachers, he will send you the correct teachers, because a lot of us cannot do it on our own. We can't research. We don't know how to research. And even if you research, there's so many lies on the internet that leaves you confused. You can't just sit down and read the Bible with your carnal mind, because you won't get anything out of the Bible when your mind has been erased and whitewashed. So what you need to do, and I'm talking to my audience, you need to ask Baba Mungu to send you the correct teachers.
Yeah.
That will teach you the truth. Time is getting short. We don't have time to play around. Yeah. We don't have time to stay in the church and be stupid, or get out of the church and stay stupid. There are great, great teachers that he has sent. According to Isaiah 30:20, he said that your teachers will come out of the corners and they will show you which way to go. So if you're not asking him for the correct teacher to come and teach you and help you to take these blinders off your eyes, then you're going to get caught up in what did you call it the other day? casualties of war.
Mm.
Because there's a war coming. There's a war coming, and I know I'm getting off the subject, but I feel like I need to say this, and I don't know who I'm talking to, but there's a war coming, and the Reaper is coming.
Mm.
And what's the Reaper going to do, Silverback? What is the Reaper coming to do?
It's going to sift them.
Thank you.
It's gonna sift your soul, you know. And we're all gonna die, by the way, family. We're all going to die, but some deaths are, how you say it, it's an act of the Father removing you because you're not on the team. You're not. How do you say? You're not contributing.
You're not contributing.
You're not contributing to the war that's taking place. Okay.
So the earth is going to open up and swallow you. The Reaper is coming to separate the wheat from the tares.
That's right.
So you can be a stiff-necked person and say, "Oh, I don't want to hear anything they have to say. I'm going to stay right here in the church, and I'm going to stay right here in the church, and I'm not moving." You can say that. That's okay. God, Baba Mungo gave us a will. He said, "Choose ye this day, blessing, cursing,
yes,
good, evil." You choose. But I tell you one thing, you choose the wrong thing, you will be caught up like the children of Israel because there's no time. There's no time left. There's no time left. We are in the last days. Perilous times are here. People are killing, mass shootings, earthquakes is coming. The earth is revving up. So there's storms that never been, there's hurricanes that never been, there's earthquakes that's never been. So there's no time for you to sit and debate over the information that Baba Mungo is giving you.
Yeah. So what is the opportunity for you to repent? But when we say there is no time, family, what registers in your mind when someone tells you you no longer have time? What rings in your mind? You see, that's what you've got to. This is what you have to assess. What is it that you are supposed to do that you're running time? That your time is running out of, like you're running out of time. It means that there is a specific time that you have to complete a task. Right, Mama?
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the time that you have here under the sun, you came from somewhere. Okay? The very place that you're dismissing, that's where you came from. You came from somewhere. When Nicodemus came to Isaiah KONGO at night to ask him how to enter into the kingdom, Isaiah KONGO told him, the kingdom is within you. So if the kingdom is within you, what's the point of being here? Right?
Wow, that's powerful.
So why am I being judged for being here on this dimension? If you already have the kingdom within you, what's the point of you being in this dimension?
Wow, it's powerful.
Right? And why are we talking about qualifications, about entering the kingdom, if the kingdom is already within you? But Isaiah KONGO told him, but you must be reborn of the what? The spirit, right?
Spirit.
Yeah.
Spirit. Because Nicodemus thought he was talking about re-entering into his mother's womb. That's the only concept he had of being reborn.
Exactly.
Reborn, being born is coming through the channels of the water, which is your mother's womb. So the only thing that he had to equate the story to was, so what do I enter back into my mother's womb? He said, no, you must be born by water and spirit.
Right. You must be born. Exactly. But then he says, how can I be reborn? He's saying, I'm already here. Right? Right?
But there again, he was missing the concept of what Isaiah was teaching him. But he eventually got the concept of what he was teaching him. This is a spiritual transition.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Tapping in to the divinity that lies dormant within us.
Yes. When you come out of your mother's womb, where did you come from?
That's a good question. I wish someone would make a comment in the comments and tell everybody where we came from.
Right? We see people dying. We also see people being born. So, being born, coming into this world, we can't discount where we came from and we cannot discount where we're going. But it seems with our people, we discount where we came from and who we came from. We discount that part, but we accept where we're going because it's an agenda. You're being fed to accept only where you're going. But there's a connection between where you came from and where you're going.
That's it. Wow.
Right? So we took a little detour.
Where are we going?
Yeah, we took a little detour. And
well, it was needed. You know, sometimes we take detours because we're not really in control of this podcast, whether you know it or not. He is in control.
Exactly.
Because we have submitted ourselves to him, and he will guide the conversation.
Exactly.
We can put things down on paper, but if he redirects us, we have to be redirected. Why? Because we are obedient children.
That's right, Mama. That's right. That is right. Most of the times I get on this mic and I talking, and people are like, this guy's distracted, or he doesn't make sense. No, you're missing the point. And sometimes I walk away with my mind like, wow, I can't believe I said that, because it wasn't me.
That's right. And you know, out of his grace and kindness, he might be talking to one person on this podcast. That's how gracious and loving he is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we all, as his children, we come to a crossroad of decision. And it's happened to me many a times. I'm at a crossroad and I just need an answer.
Mm-hmm.
So he will use anything to get us through that crossroad. So whoever we're talking to, the message was sent from him to you.
Yeah. You know what, Mom? Thank you. Thank you for that. So you know what? Let's look at that scripture, Nicodemus and Isaiah. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at that.
You want the scripture of the rich man and Lazarus, or Nicodemus?
No. When Nicodemus came to Isaiah at night.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to type in Nicodemus and everything else will pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there it is. Nicodemus. And okay, by night. See how it pops up?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that is in John chapter 3.
Yeah.
Why did Nicodemus come to Jesus at night? And
Yes.
we're going to read it. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came by Isaiah by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher, come from Isaiah, come from Baba Mungu. For no man can do these things that you do. no one can do these things that you do, can do these miracles that you do, except if they're sent from God. And Yesaiah answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, truly, truly, I say unto you, except the man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of Baba Mungu. So Yesaiah answered, Verily, I say unto you, verily I say, Jesus answered, Verily, verily I say unto you, except a man be born of water and spirit. Because we have to come through the water to be born from our mother's womb, and of spirit. He cannot enter into kingdom of Baba Mungu.
Yeah.
That which is born of the flesh is flesh, but that which is born of the spirit is spirit. Nicodemus marveled at the words that Yesaiah said. Marvel not that I say to you that you must be born again. The wind blows and you listen and you hear the sounds of it, but cannot well tell where it comes from, where it goes.
Exactly.
Same with the spirit. Wow. Same with the spirit. So he's telling us that we are spiritual beings.
Exactly. Come on, Mama.
Beings. We are spiritual beings. And there you have it. And in order to see the kingdom, you have to be a spirit. Someone told me, but our ancestors are in eternal sleep. They're dead. They're not alive. But this here says that the spirit doesn't die.
That's right,
Our
Mama.
spirit never dies. It transitions over, but it never dies. So here's where the confusion comes in, that people don't believe that they have a connection in the spiritual realm on earth.
Yes. Mama, give me the scripture again so we can give them a visual.
John 3.
Okay.
Verse 1. John 3, verse 1.
John 3, verse 1. Okay. You're right about the ads, Mama. You were so right. You're getting aggressive. Yeah.
We're going to fix that. That's all right. Mom's here.
Yeah. So, okay, John 3, yeah, exactly. So let me give this sisters, brothers and sisters.
You read out of the NIV. We like the NIV.
Yeah. It's my favorite version of the Bible. I'm a simple man.
Yes, you are a simple man. You know, kings are simple. Kings are simple warriors.
I'm a simple man. Okay, so see, there you go, family. He says, the Pharisees came. He says, we know. Now, the family, remember this. He recognizes what? His divinity. Okay? Now,
yes, he did.
This is going to be a theme when I go forward with you guys. Every time. Okay? He says, we know that you come from the Father. You see? We have to acknowledge where we came from, family. You got to acknowledge. I don't understand. We listen to people that we have no idea where they came from. You know what I'm saying, Mama? We listen to people we don't know where they came from, but they can tell you about hell.
Let's break it down. We don't say people. We listen to the white man when we don't know where the white man came from.
Oh, how do I get in trouble, Mama?
Come on, let's identify our enemy. We were on this earth for thousands of years before the white man came with destruction, and he's still destroying.
I love it, Mama. I love it. I love when you get fiery.
It's time to stop sugarcoating.
Yes, it's so true. You know, you're listening to a people you don't even know where they came from, but your ancestors you're dismissing. I don't understand that. I just don't.
Well, you have to understand it, my sweet young king. because you listen to people that have groomed you, like a pedophile grooms a child from a small age. We have been groomed to take their word over our ancestors' word, to take their word over our parents' word, to take their word over our grandparents' word. We have been groomed to believe the white man over the black man. And what is it? What is it? It's the battle of good and evil.
It is.
It's a battle of good and evil. The white man has never did anything but destroy, kill, rob, and cause chaos.
Yes.
And he's still doing today. But what he has done in the interim, he has whitewashed our brains, that we no longer respect or care for our culture, our people, our ancestors, and our divinity and our ways of life. We discount it so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. So family, when you look at this scripture here, thank you, Mama. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mama, for saying that. And thank you for sharing your experience after your mama passed. And listen, family, she had a visual experience, not one that you can discount. Oh, you were sleeping, you were dreaming, like I do. I have a lot of visions while I'm asleep. Okay? I'm hard-headed. The father has to pull me under for me to really see. But Mama had an experience where she was awake. But our people, they'll say, you were still sleeping. Now, let's take a look at scripture. I cannot go deep with you. How am I going to convey spiritual matters if you can't understand the physical things? Huh?
Say it.
He says,
say it and teach it. Teach it.
He said, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher who came from God. So he came from somewhere, just like your ancestors. He has a lineage.
So he said, we know that you came from God, and there he said, because no man can do what you did unless he came from Baba Mungu.
Mama,
so he clarified.
Yes, Isaiah came, he performed miracles. But if you cannot accept where he came from, because he has ancestors, Isaiah KONGO has ancestors. He came from the house of Jesse, did he not?
Yeah.
Right? They call him son of David. Yeah. They call him son of Dawidi.
He came from the house of Jesse, yes.
Yes. Mama is moving around. Right? So he came from the house of Jesse. He has ancestors. See, that's the problem that we have as quote unquote Christians or whatever religion you're into. Everyone that occupies a body on this earth comes from somewhere. There's a lineage. They came from somewhere. So if you're going to accept his message, you first have to accept where he came from. This man, the rabbi, Nicodemus, he's acknowledging who he is, his divinity. I cannot go further with you, right? We can go further. We cannot listen to anything that Isaiah KONGO says. If you are one of these people who want to listen, okay, let's just hear what he says. And listen, We can't listen. You can't take anything serious from Isaiah KONGO if we don't acknowledge who he is.
Wow. That's the truth right there. But here's I have a question.
Yes, Mama.
My question is, and this is one of the questions that I had when I was in the church. Okay, so he recognized Isaiah's divinity. He recognized who he was when he did these things. But the church taught us, because Isaiah was God, Son, Holy Spirit, and I thought, well, of course he could do all these works. Mm-hmm. But what they cut out was, we were the same children and came from the same place that Isaiah came from. So we have the same powers and attributes of our father, just like Isaiah. So we can do the things that he did.
Well, Mama.
Because is that correct or no?
So let me see if I get this correct. What you're saying is that if he claims to come from the Father, we are also gods, right? We also should be able to do what he's done, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's the disconnect, Mama. That's the disconnect to this day. Today, that's the disconnect. You understand? Isaiah KONGO came, and when he came, the Bible tells us that his own people did not receive him.
Yeah. That's right. You
understand? A prophet does not have honor within his own town, right? Everything.
Yeah.
So his people did not receive him. That's the disconnect. This is what I'm saying. This man recognized his divinity. If you cannot recognize where you came from, there is no possible way you would know where you're going. Because the future is connected to the past.
Future is connected to the past. The past has all the answers for the future.
Yes, Mama. That's the way it is. The reason the black man, the black child, the reason we are in shambles is because we're not connecting to the past. And it's not by mistake that the enemy keeps trying to erase our past. It's not by mistake.
It's by design.
It's by design. Okay? So Mama, I wanted to go deep within this conversation about, ancestral visitation and how people see it demonic. This wasn't even planned. This scripture here wasn't even planned.
No, it was not. It was not. Yeah.
If you cannot recognize your divinity, my friends, like that tree, a tree without roots doesn't even exist. It's imaginary.
Wow. So true. So true. And in the church, the church teaches that the earth is only 6,000 years old. What a coincidence. What a coincidence that they have been around for only 6,000 years, the white man. So they have taught us that the earth is only 6,000 years old. So what does that do? That blocks out that obliviates our existence.
Yeah.
As a black man. So according to them, it all started with them.
Yeah. Imaginary people.
Wow. Wow.
I mean.
Wow.
If we don't have no connection with our ancestors, we just imaginary people. Our trauma, our slavery doesn't exist.
Wow.
Because we have no connection. So who's
because we have no
who's
connection.
who respects an invisible individual? You're invisible.
Mm.
You have no roots. I mean, come on. While they're giving you their history, their fantasies, and you accepting it.
Their stories, their
Yes.
stories. Now the Bible is whitewashed. Everybody in the Bible is white. Moses is white. Abraham is white. Adam and Eve is white.
Yeah.
You cannot go online and find a black Messiah. You cannot go online and find a black Eve. You cannot go online and find any of the patriarchs of their original color, because they have whitewashed it, dismissed it, and took it out of circulation, so to speak. Took it out of circulation. So everything that our children know and my grandchildren understand, it comes from a white man's perspective. And this is where he's breaking the confusion. He's breaking the confusion. Heaven is saying enough is enough. I'm coming after my children. I'm going to tell them who they are, and they're going to begin to walk in their divine power. And this is what's happening on the earth right now. We are waking up so that we can take back who we originally are and were. And no longer are we going to allow the white man to whitewash and tell our history through their narrative. It's over. It's over.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, if it's okay with you, I'm gonna quickly read Psalms 82, where it talks about you are gods.
Yes. But before you go there, Mama, let me just point out something else on this scripture here.
Okay.
He first recognized, again, family, he first recognized, you know, we have a thing today that we say when somebody brings you information, right? You ask them, where did you hear this from? Don't we all say that?
Yeah.
Right. Well, what source?
And we also say you better recognize. At least in my community, they say it.
Exactly.
If you don't recognize, you better ask somebody. I love our people. I love our people.
Yes, we're special. We're divine. All right?
Yeah, we are divine.
It says, for no one could perform the signs you're doing if Baba Mungu were not with him.
Yeah. He recognized it.
He recognized where he came from.
Yes, he recognized it.
And who he belongs to. Okay?
He recognized it, and he recognized the power that he was working with.
Exactly. And I listen to what Isaiah KONGO says. Isaiah replied, very truly I tell you, no one can see the kingdom of God. No one can see the kingdom of God unless they are born again. Keyword, see.
See.
Okay.
When you see, what happens when you see? You witness something. When you can see it with your eyes, you are a witness.
Yeah. So, okay, his reply was no one can see, right? So basically says, he says, we know that you are a teacher who has come from Baba Mungu, for no one can perform the signs you're doing if Baba Mungu were not with him. Okay? And Isaiah KONGO confirms his ability. He says, very truly I tell you, no one can see the kingdom of Baba Mungu. So you also have to see. You see, he's a divine being. You see, Isaiah KONGO is bringing spiritual matters, right? And this gentleman, Nicodemus, to his credit, he recognizes the divinity in Isaiah. Okay? And then he confirms it for him. Yes, that is very true. No one can see. If you don't see if somebody sees you, first of all, they got to be able to see you.
Yeah.
Right? They got to be able to see that you came from the Father. But you came from somewhere. And this is where I'm going to end for you, family. Like, I don't need to go further. We don't need to go into the spirit, explaining this and that, spiritual concepts, because Isaiah is saying, this man is saying that we know that you come from, and he has a lineage. He has a physical lineage. He comes from the house of David. He comes from a source. So he comes from the Father, and this same Father, as we know in the scriptures, as we're going to read later on, okay? We're gonna give you a little bit more. I think we should give them a little, just a little, okay? That there is a connection. There's a connection. So that's the very thing I wanted to talk about divinity, but I had another scripture. It was in Exodus, as I told you, Mama. But this is the same.
This is the crown of glory that we needed in this tension in this teaching, because see is an operative word. Mm-hmm. See is the what he's trying to get to us is to what? See. Mm-hmm. So see is the moral of the story. Mm-hmm. To see. He said no one will enter into the kingdom of God unless he can see. In other words, taking the blinders off our eyes so that we can see who we are and see who he is, and see that we have a correlation and a spiritual connection with the Most High. We all came down from heaven to this earth. We came from him to this earth, just like Isaiah. Mm-hmm. And Isaiah came to show us the way back to the Father, show us our divinity. No man, you will do greater things than I do, showing us that we are just like him. Mm-hmm. We have the same attributes, the same power. We have everything that he has. He came to show us that we have the power to do the things that he did. And that's why in the church, it lies dormant, because it was stolen from us. It was stolen from the original people. So you don't see anything that Isaiah did in the church. You don't see anything. You don't see the dead being resurrected. You don't see the lame walking. You don't see any of the things that he did. You do not see in the church. Why is that?
Our people, Mama, our people are special. We special. I'm talking about special as in the yellow bus special. Okay.
I was going to say that. We've been bamboozled.
Yeah, we would yellow bus special. So
we have been bamboozled. And the thing about it is, this is, it's been 400 years. We've been colonized for 400 years. Now the transition is taking place. And I believe what Baba Mungu, Tata Zambi, and Pungu Telendo want us to recognize is in Psalms 82. In Psalms 82, may I read a portion of it?
Yes, Mama, go ahead. Psalms. Let me put it up for them as well. Psalms 82.
Psalms 82.
Okay, let's go to Psalms.
And I'm going to start at verse 5 and 6.
Oh, one second, Mama.
5. Okay, go right ahead. Take your time. 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to highlight it on my.
So you say Psalms 82, right? 82.
Yes, Psalms 82, and I'm starting at verse 5.
Okay, one second. All right.
starting at verse 5, and I'm going to highlight it.
Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
You go, Mama. Hit him.
I'm
Get him.
I'm going to start at verse 5. And verse 5 said, they know not, neither will they understand. Talking about 2023. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are what? Out of course. Is that 2023?
Yes.
That's 2023. I have said, you are gods, and you, all of you, are children of the Most High. Come on now. This is our identification. He's showing us our passport. He's showing us our visa. He's showing us our heritage, that we are heirs of Zulu. He said, I have said, you are gods. And all of you are children of the Most High. But you die like men and fall like ones of the princes. Arise, O God, and judge the earth, for thou shalt not inherit the nations. He's telling us, wake up. You are like me. I made you in my image. You have what I have. You can speak and things will change. You can proclaim and things will change. You are like your brother that came down, KONGO, Jesus, as they call him, and I don't like to say that word because it gives me the picture of the white boy. So I like to say KONGO, because they drove in my head that Jesus was a white man. So I don't even like to say his name. Forgive me.
No, Mama.
I like to say his African name. His African name is Yeshua. Yeshua. So he said, you are gods. In other words, you're like me. You're my children. Silverback, your sons are like you.
That's right.
They carry your last name, your DNA, your instruction to them. They don't go to a white man and say, Daddy, tell me my history. Tell me who I am.
Yeah.
They go to their father. Severin, Saddleback, they go to our Father. So we go to our Father to get information, to understand our divinity, to understand what he wants us to do, to understand our culture, to understand where we came from. We go to our Father to get the information, and not to a doctored book to get given by someone else's narrative. The white man has narrated our culture and our history for 400 years. They wiped out what they wanted to wipe out, and they put their narrative in because they haven't grafted their self into our history.
Yeah. Yeah. What version was that? What you read, Mama? Which version did you read?
Yeah, when I'm reading on Bible is, and it always pulls up the King James version.
King James.
So you read it out of the NIV, yeah.
Yeah. Verses 5. Psalms 82 verses 5 says, the gods know nothing. They understand nothing. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I said, you are gods. You are all sons of the Most High. But you will die like mere mortals. You will fall like every other ruler. Rise up, O Baba Mungu, judge the earth, for all the nations are your inheritance. You hear the last one, Mama? You hear that, right? Rise up, O Baba Mungu, judge the earth, for all the nations are your inheritance. Right? So Baba Mungu is a God of all that you see with your eyes, whether visible or invisible. Okay? But all things must be obedient to the Father, right? But this here was talking to a specific people. This book that you read, the Bible, is an account for a specific people. For a specific people. All right. But I thank you for this, Mama. I thank you for that scripture. So let's go back.
So if we've got, I'm gonna ask you a quick question. So if we are gods, he said, I said you're gods.
Mm-hmm.
So he's telling us, I said you're divine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're divine, but we are fallen.
You have just as much power as your brother who came down beside KONGO to demonstrate the power that you have. He walked on water, we can walk on water.
Yeah.
He made a paste in the dirt out of mud, out of his spit, and put it on the blind man's eyes. We have that power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everything that he did, because he's our brother, we can do, because we come from a divine seed. We come from Baba Mungu. He said, I already told you who you were. That's like you telling your children, you're my son, you're my children. You can do what I can do. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go to another entity, another man, another culture to learn about your culture. You can do what your daddy does. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's in him. He has the same instructions that I have. He's the latest version that and he's awaits. It's like having a very, very powerful device. If you don't know how to utilize that device, you probably be just using. You understand, right? You're just using minor functions. Yes.
Good analogy. Very good.
Yeah. So.
Very good. Very good. This is a message. This is a message for my 24-year-old and my 19-year-old and my 17-year-old grandchildren. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Oh, glory to Baba Mungu.
This is a message. This is a message from Grandma to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as you can see here, he's talking to a lot of gods, right? He said these are Baba Mungu's children operating in their low state.
You're gonna die as mere men.
Yeah, right. Operating in their low state. So you can, if you choose to acknowledge your divinity, those consequences are not going to come. They only come when you choose not to acknowledge your divinity. Right? That's what it is. This is Now, like I said, I think in another broadcast, Narrowcast, death, there is a spiritual death, and then there is a less divine death. Okay?
Yes.
And death could not Isaiah KONGO came to what? To disrupt that. Death is it's like the enemy stains you, defiles you. It's not upright. Death is shameful. Okay? There's a shameful death.
Death, where is your sting?
Yes.
Oh, grave, where's your victory?
Exactly. Now, if you were cut short, now your righteousness will overcome death. Okay? Your divinity, when it's recognized, you can overcome death. You understand? Yes, you'll die physically, but if you are a spiritual being, if you are someone who acknowledges divinity, you rise above death And this is why this is why, when Isai came, he was able to overcome it, and they give you an example that he went down and freed those who were captured in sin, right?
Locked up.
Locked up.
Locked up since the day of Noah, they said.
Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So
yes,
you can look. There's a physical death and a spiritual death, and you do not want to be spiritually dead. That's the worst death.
That's right? The worst one.
So
very good.
Let's go into Exodus, and this was my intention. I think this first one is the one that we read in John 4 when Nicodemus came. That for me that's sufficient, Mama. That you people listen. You don't want to acknowledge your ancestors. How can you not? You come from somewhere. Yes. I don't understand.
You listen. I will never discount Mama and Daddy. I will never discount Grandma and Grandpa, Gertrude and Abraham. I will never discount my great-grandparents because they are on the other side watching me, guiding me, directing me. Why would I disrespect them?
Nah, don't say that, Mama.
Why would I shoo them away?
Don't say that, Mama. They're asleep.
Why would I say I don't need them? I need them.
They're asleep, Mama. They're not, it's evil.
Listen, they are wide awake because they helped me. They helped $300 cash come back to me. The devil would not, Shatani will not bring $300 that I lost back to me.
Mama, no.
So who was it?
Some would say that's the devil, Mama. Some would say it's the devil.
The devil hates us. He likes to see us lose things. Mm-hmm. He likes to see us lose money. Mm-hmm. He is not going to bring $300 cash back to none of us. Mm. But my ancestors covered it, hid it from the enemy, and brought it back to my hand. Mm.
Yeah. So Mama, let's take a look at Exodus chapter 3.
Okay, I'm there. Exodus chapter 3, I'm there.
Okay,
what verse?
I'm going to start at 1.
Okay.
Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of Baba Mungu. There the Meleki, the angel of Bwana, appeared to him in flames of fire from within the bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over there. I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. Okay, so Moses, I'm going to stop here for a second. Moses acknowledges something supernatural taking place. Something supernatural is taking place.
Yes.
Okay, he saw a fire within the bush, and that fire was not burning up the bush. He says, let me go over there. Let's see what's going on over there. Because fire will burn up the bush, and it would spread.
In the natural realm, fire will burn up anything it touches. It's in the natural realm, yes.
That is right. That is right. Okay. Verses 4. When when Bwana saw that he had gone over to look, Baba Mungu called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. Now remember, this is an angel of the Lord.
Okay? Yes.
This is an angel representing the Father. As our teacher, Nabi Kef, has taught us that the angels are what? Ambassadors, right?
They are the ones that Baba Mungu send. Mm-hmm. That he sends them.
Yes. They're agents.
To do the deeds of the earth. He doesn't come down to the earth itself, but he has those angels that come on his behalf, ambassadors.
Yes. And also, if you go...
Warriors.
Yes, Mama. Yes. And also, it's like you have different races, right? I mean, there's no such thing as race, but there are different creatures. There are angels, there's all types of angels, right? So if you do your little research, as Nabi showed us, that these angels can also come looking like you and me, right? They can come looking like let's do that. All right, let's go. Let's click the 2 as Nabi does. I love the way he does it. I'm showing them.
Nabi Kafis is a master teacher.
Yes, master teacher. And I'm doing it where he goes in the Blue Letter Bible, right? Now where's the whoa, wait a minute. No, okay, no. Sorry about that, guys. Let me close that. Let me open this one, right? Yeah. So here, the angel, right? We click here, which means Maleki, in Hebrew. Okay. We click the Strong's H4397. It says an angel is what? A messenger, a representative, right? As you can see, it is a messenger, an ambassador. Okay. From an unused root meaning to dispatch as a deputy messenger. So someone who represents, right? As a prophet represents Baba Mungu, okay? Angels also represent Baba Mungu. They're also ambassadors. Okay, but they serve a different function. Where is it? 1 second, show all. And I guess it just goes through and shows all the other types of verses. But yeah, an angel is someone who represents Baba Mungu. You see that? Masculine. So that's what an angel does. That's what an angel is. So the Father, as you represent, the Father does not come into this dimension. The Father says the earth is his footstool. Okay? The Father says that.
Yeah. So
he cannot break his own laws. He can change up and decide to come. No, he doesn't do that. Right? The Father is above, and the footstool, as you can visually see in your mind's eye, a footstool, you put your foot on it, so it's low. Okay? And when the Lord saw the Lord Bwana, okay, which is the angel, when he saw that he had gone over to look, the voice of Baba Mungu calls Masa, okay, from within the bush. And Moses says, here I am. All right. Now, Moses recognized divinity taking place. He saw a bush being burned under, a fire being burned in the bush, and he acknowledged. He acknowledged the source. He acknowledged. Okay? As Isaiah KONGO said, you have to see, if you go, the kingdom of God, if you don't have spiritual eyes, you won't be able to see it. Okay? If Moses was not called, okay, if he wasn't called, this experience could have gone and could have just passed him, and he would have never known what took place.
Wow.
Right? But
Wow.
because we also have to acknowledge that Moses was a divine being.
Yes.
You understand? In order for him to even interact with this spiritual fire that was burning up in the bush, in order for him to interact with it, he has to be a divine being himself. Okay? He has to be a divine being. And you're going to see in a few minutes. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Hopefully, I hope you do. When Bwana saw that he had gone over to look, Bwana called to him within the bush, Moses, Moses. Moses says, here I am, here I am. Okay? Do not come any closer, Baba Mungu said. Take off your sandals, for the place where you stand is holy, divinity. Then he said, I am Baba Mungu, okay? I am Baba Mungu, the father of your fathers. I'm putting it in Swahili. I am Baba Mungu, okay? I am the God of your father, okay? The God of Abana, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. Okay? At this, Moses...
Ikumbe. Ikumbe.
Simatena? Huh?
No, I was just saying the biblical name for their names.
Uh-huh. I didn't hear what you said. Say it again, Mama. I didn't hear.
No. I was just saying the biblical names for their names. That's all.
Yeah.
Yakuba.
Yes, Yakuba, yeah. All right. At this, Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. Later on, family, do you think he was afraid? Do you think he was afraid to look at God?
I think his fear was reverence.
Reverence.
Because remember, he just told us we are gods.
Exactly.
So his representative that he sent are gods.
Exactly.
They have much power. Baba Mungu has given them much power to do this, to do that, to judge, to bring fire, to bring judgment. So he reverenced the angel that he saw as a god, because there was a God talking to a God. Moses was a God, he was a God, but he outranked Moses in rank. That's how I picked it up.
Yes. My child is my breed, is my kind.
That's it.
My child is lesser than me because I'm the father and he's my child.
That's it.
Okay.
I send you, it's like a mom. I'm a mom and I'm a grandmom, but I delegate. Okay, you do this, you do that, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for that. And they take their responsibilities very serious. And it's just like Baba Mungu. He has delegated responsibility to the archangels. And so when they come down as gods representing him, who does not come down to earth. But he has representatives that come down, archangels that come down and do his good pleasure, bring instruction, show and teach his children. So we have confused the archangels with the Almighty.
Yes. Verse 7 says, the Lord said, Bwana said, I've seen indeed the misery of my people in Egypt. I've heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I'm concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them up out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey, the home of the
Africa.
Canaanites, Hittites, Hemorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And now the cry of the Isolele has reached me, and I have seen the way the Egyptians are oppressing them. So now go, I am sending you to the Pharaoh to bring my people, the Isolele, out of Egypt. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to only do them from 1 to 10, right? So let's break this down.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Break it down, son.
Let's break this down.
Because remember, the past affects the future.
Yes.
So the same thing is going on right now. I see that the colonizers have trapped you, has oppressed you, has caused you to cry out to me, because every African around the world right now is crying. How long?
Yeah, the suffering.
They're suffering. We are suffering around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we're crying out to him. And the angels are crying out to him. How long?
Yes. Yes.
Come on, son.
So
I'll wrap it up.
When verses 4 says, when the Lord saw that he had gone, not there. Hold on 1 second, Mama.
Moreover, I am the God of the fathers.
Yeah. So
and the Lord have surely seen the affliction. Verse 7.
Yeah. No. 1 second. I may have to go a little further. Let me see. Oh yeah, I have to go a little further. I'm sorry about that, family. So okay, verses 11. Okay, verses 10 says, so now go, I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to Baba Mungu, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? Verses 12, and Baba Mungu said, I will be with you. Whoa, I will be with you. And this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship Baba Mungu on this mountain.
On this mountain.
Okay.
So he gets all the glory out of this scenario.
Yes.
It's like you going to the schoolyard because the bullies have been bullying your children, your boys, your children, all of middle school. You said, wait a minute, let me come and show them and tell them to leave you alone. So what Baba Mungu was saying, I will take over this because I hear your cries. I got you.
Yeah. I mean, examine this. The angel that was speaking to the angel, so there's two conversations here. There's a conversation that's coming directly from the angel of the Lord, right? And
yes.
then there's a voice that's coming directly from Baba Mungu.
Yes.
Okay. So we have to acknowledge that he was speaking to the angel of the Lord, but within the voice, there are two speakers. One is direct and the other one is passive. Okay?
Yes.
But nonetheless.
I see that.
Right? Verses 12. But Moses said to Baba Mungu, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israeli out of Egypt? And Baba Mungu said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. Verses 12 again. And Baba Mungu said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. Keep that in mind. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship Baba Mungu on this mountain. 13. Moses said to Baba Mungu, suppose I go to Isolele and say to them, the God of our fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them? Baba Mungu said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what
I love this part.
This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. 15. Baba Mungu also said to Moses, just in case you didn't get verses 14, Baba Mungu also said to Moses, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. So the God of his fathers has sent him to them. Okay, and he says, now watch this here. It says, this is my name forever, the name you shall call me from generation to generation.
Generation.
Okay, now when it says from generation to generation, it means, what does that mean to you, Mama? When I tell you from generation to generation, what am I saying?
It means it. Let me touch my phone because my phone go out. You can't hear me. It means to me, generation means from generation to generation. It means from the beginning of time till now.
Right. Right. So basically, from one group of people, right? I am will be remembered from one group of people. There's a continuation here. It's continuation.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
From generation. Verse 16, go assemble the elders of Israel and say to them, the Bwana, the Lord, okay? The Mungu, the God of our fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac. You notice it's being emphasized over and over and over, right? You notice that, Mama? You notice it's being emphasized? It's being emphasized.
I noticed that it's being emphasized because he's trying to get across to us that he is the God of the living.
Yes, the God of the living, the God of the living.
Ancient of days.
Yes, yes. And it says, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob appeared to me and said, I have watched over you and have seen what has been done to you in Egypt. And I have promised to bring you up out of your misery in Egypt into the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. The elders of Israel will listen to you. They will listen to you. Why would they listen to him, Mama?
Because he was a divine representative of Zulu, of heaven, sent by God,
right,
sent by Baba Mungu.
Right. So they would most likely listen to him because these are prophecies that have been told, that these are accounts, visions, or I would say prophecies that were in their midst, right? These were the traditions, the cultures, right? So this is the order that they know. They will listen to you because they know their father. They know their father Abraham. They know their father Isaac, and they know their father Jacob. Okay, they will listen. Right. They will listen to you because they know the traditions. They will listen to you. This is why it's made clear. It says the elders of Israel will listen to you. Then you and the elders are to go to the king of Egypt and say to him, Bwana, the God of Hebrews, has met with us. Okay? Right? So you go to the king of Egypt and say to him, the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices to Bwana, our Mungu, our God. But I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless a mighty hand compels him. So I will stretch out my hand and strike the Egyptians with all the wonders that I will perform among them. Okay, and listen, and listen to this.
Because you know I'm about to jump out of my chair.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, listen, because sometimes you have to slow down the movie. After that, he will let you go, and I will make the Egyptians favorably disposed toward these people, so that when you leave, you will not go empty-handed. Every woman is to ask. Okay. Let me just finish, Mama.
Hurry up.
Every woman.
Hurry up, because I'm about to go crazy over here in Africa.
Every woman is to ask her neighbor and any woman living in her house for articles of silver and gold and for clothing, which you will put on your sons and daughters. And so you will plunder the Egyptians. Now, I don't want to go away too far away from, so we're going to stop here. Go ahead, Mama. Go ahead. I know I like to slow down.
Come on now. You listen, let me tell you something. What we are reading is a future newspaper. A future newspaper. So when I have promised to bring you up out of America, I have promised to bring you out of Russia, I have promised Hittites, I have promised to bring you out of Italy, I have promised to bring you out of Europe, I have promised to bring you out. So he is mentioning to me, this is Old Testament, now we're going to transfer it into New Testament. And I have promised you to take you out of, so he's naming all the modern cities that we are in bondage now. And I will bring you in the land of flowing with milk and honey. So let's change that. I will bring you into the land of Africa. The elders of Israel will listen to you. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Then you and the elders will go into the kingdom of Egypt, the kingdom of America, the kingdom of Europe, the kingdom of the Western world, and say to the Western world, Baba Mungu, the king of the Bantus, has met with us. Let's take 3 days' journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices. So there are sacrifices. Those are our rituals that we, in this dispensation, must sacrifice to Baba Mungu. But I know the kings of America, the kings of Egypt, not Egypt, the kings of America, the kings of European, the kings of France, the kings of Russia will not let you go unless the mighty hand of Baba Mungu will compel them. So we are, so the past has met up with the future. But I know the kings, verse 19, but I know the kings of America will not let you go unless a mighty hand compels them. Come on now, we're talking about reformation here. We're talking about the Reformation, and everybody's crying for Reformation. God, Baba Mungo said, wait a minute. It has to be my mighty hand that compels them. So I will stretch out my hand and strike America, strike Europe, strike the Netherlands, strike Germany, strike Russia. This is what I see. And all the wonders I will perform among them. So there's a performance getting ready to come, because he said that he will gather us from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and we will leave with great substances. Come on now. The past has met up with the future. The past has met up with the future. And so this scripture here correlates what we're going through right now. This scripture of the past, thousands of years ago, this was written, this was performed, this was experienced by our ancestors. Now, here we are now. We're in a place right now where he said, I will gather my children from the north, the south, the east, and west. How are you going to gather our children from the north, south, and east, and west? Okay, let's look at Exodus 3.
Yeah.
And every woman is to ask her neighbor, the Kardashians, and all the women that have stolen from us, the kings and queens of Europe that have stolen from us, that they will give us articles of silver, gold, clothing, which will be put on her sons and daughters. And we will plunder the West. This is real time right now. We got to come out of the past and come into where we are now. Because there's a transition going on. There's a war going on. There's things going on in the spiritual realm. It starts in the spiritual realm before you see it in the physical realm.
Yeah.
You know, Donald Trump and his cronies have heightened white supremacy. So there's a war that's going to come, a race war that's going to come, where we have to fight. We're going to fight. This is the war. So I see Exodus 3 as the modern newspaper of what's going on, what was, what is to come, and what we will be in the future. Make no mistake about it. And that's all I have to say.
Come on, Mama. Come on. Yes, family. So, again, thank you for that, Mama. Thank you. Mama is right, because, it's like our people, it's like a perpetual circle. It's like we're going in the circle over and over. There's always someone coming. There's always a prophet who came, right, to tell them about their father. We have prophets among us for a reason, right? And they always seem, and their experience, right, when they come in contact with the Father, it's very similar to what Moses is experiencing. Now keep in mind, when you take a look at Moses prior to chapter 3, he was a murderer. He just came from killing, the other passage, right? He came from killing an Egyptian, and he ran away.
Yes.
Okay. He ran right into his destiny, right? So, but understand something. Though he's a murderer, his actions were not deemed. If put it this way, if he had just died, say for example, Moses killed that Egyptian, and then in this passage he meets his wife, his father-in-law, and then he goes and he dies. He will be deemed as a evil ancestor, right?
Got you. I don't see it that way, but I'll agree with you for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, in today's time, we know people that have lived lives that are not upright. And then he died, and he is and if the person lives a short life and they didn't live out their years to old age, we would say, that person didn't live a good life. He was out there in Egypt, he killed a man, and he ran to Midian, and he met his wife. Yeah, he up to that point he was considered a murderer, Mama.
Well, listen, they would demonize
Mhm.
King David in this year. Oh, he sent his guard, he sent one of his warriors on the front lines so he could be killed, so he can get Bathsheba. He did this, he did that. Yeah, today's news they will kill him, but God said, Baba Mungu said that David was a man after his own heart. So Moses killed an Egyptian. So did he kill the Egyptian? Or did Mama Mungu, did Baba Mungu say, revenge your brothers and sisters? Today you will revenge your brothers and sisters because they have killed you, they have tortured you, and they have did evil things to you. So today you will avenge the blood of your ancestors. Come on now. Answer that question for me, because that was all my question. Was he a murderer, or was he sent to avenge the blood of his ancestors? Answer me that question, please, somebody.
Was Moses was a murderer, or you asking if he was what a murderer because he killed an Egyptian? Yeah, he was a murderer.
Okay, listen. So was he a murderer by the standards that we know as murderers?
Exactly.
Or did he avenge? Did he avenge his ancestors?
That's a good question.
David, you okay, listen. You can say that David was a murderer, but David was a warrior. And when God sent him out, he said, kill everything in the camp. Kill the animals, kill the children, kill the women, kill the men. So was he a murderer, or was he sent to avenge the blood of his ancestors? I don't see Moses as a murderer. I see him as a warrior that avenged the blood of his ancestors. Because remember, the Hebrews were torturing and murdering us for decades. And Moses was raised in the Hebrew culture of the Egyptians. So he saw all this stuff. And so he came up against his brothers being misused. He had to pull out his sword and avenge those who had been misused by them for hundreds of years. So the Bible says that Moses was a murderer. The Bible does not say David was a murderer, though he killed many. So let's rethink this Moses was a murderer situation. Let's rethink it. Let's discuss it. Was he a murderer, or did he avenge the blood of his ancestors?
Right. So Mama, what I would like for us to get out of this passage is our divinity as Baba Mungu's children. Okay.
So in other words, okay, let's stay there. So did he avenge? Was Moses required? Did Moses have the right as a divine from Baba Mungu to avenge his ancestors?
Well, he
had the right.
He killed an Egyptian who was oppressing his Hebrew brothers.
That's what I'm saying.
He killed in defense. He killed them because they were oppressing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
did David. But no one ever calls David a murderer. Huh? David went and destroyed his enemies, the whole camp, even the animals. Moses saw two people mistreating his people.
Yeah.
But the laws of the land said, now you're a murderer, you got to run and hide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The kingdom of Pharaoh. The kingdom of
Because why?
the
The pharaohs ran the show.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So go ahead. I just wanted to input that.
You on fire today, Mama. You on fire today. You on fire today. I want. Oh,
I get it. You know what? Sometimes when you're in your 70s, you just get upset because you see the same thing happening, the same murders, the murderers of your children in America, the
mm-hmm.
murderers of the people that's murdering your children around the world. Another son dies, another son dies, another daughter dies. You get tired. When you're in your 70s, you're tired.
Yeah.
You're tired. You say, how long? How long will it take you to avenge my sons and my daughters?
Yeah.
They're being killed in the streets. They are dying. So you're 47. I'm 72. I'm tired.
Mm.
And I have no more patience with the world as it is today.
Mm.
So forgive me for ranting and raging, but I am Rachel crying for her children.
Yeah. 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 Let us, it's very true, Mama. It's very true. That these are the things that are happening in the physical. And you can see it in one way. Yes, you can take a look at Moses. If you look at it, if you just read it without any insight, yes, you would deem him to be a murderer. Okay? But he had a purpose.
Yes.
He's a divine being. And he
was a divine being.
Yes, he's still a divine being because he's with us.
He's still a divine being, and
yes.
He's still alive and well. Yes. And he's listening to me right now.
That's right. That's right, Mama. That is right. That is
right.
You know
what? My ancestors, I'm going to tell you this. My ancestors put this fire in me, when I came through the birth channel of my mother. Mm-hmm. They say, this is the one that's going to be born. We are sending her back. This is the one that's going to be born with a voice. Mm-hmm. It would be me.
Yeah.
So you finish your point. You finish your point, and I'll put you on mute and listen.
All right. Okay. So family, let's go here. Now, we have to recognize Moses' divinity in this particular passage here, okay? So as you look here in verses, where is it? Verses, where is it? I will be with you, and I wish. Verses 12 says, Baba Mungu said, I will be with you, and this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. All right. So there's two deliverance here. There's one is the Father, Moses coming into contact with the Father, and Moses becoming him becoming to know that he is a child of the Father, right? And in the process of him acknowledging his divinity, he would then go ahead and go and deliver his people. And then his people will come to know that they are a people of divinity. Okay? Divine beings. So there's two settings here. There's one, Moses, who's being what? He's coming to contact with the divine, and him coming to know his divinity. This is where it's kind of tricky, where you hear, tell them I am sent. It sounds kind of, if somebody comes to you and say, hey man, I am sent you, it's like he's talking in third person, which sounds crazy in this dimension, in this world right now. If somebody comes to you and they're talking to themselves, it would seem as, right, Mama? It would seem as if he's talking to himself, right?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Say, who sent you? I am. He says, I am sent me. Sent me. Wait a minute. So it's like he's speaking in third person, which is in today's in the world today, they will consider you insane. But here,
today's definition, today's definition.
today's
But
definition, yeah.
But I am is a part of our linguistic understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I am coming home today.
Mm-hmm.
I am here.
Mm-hmm.
I am Lavernia.
Mm-hmm.
I am Silverback. We say I am all the time, announcing that we are a part of his divinity. We are a part of his, even though it's ignored, they don't understand. But every time we say I'm coming home, I am here, I am going, we are announcing his divinity in us. Come on now.
Yeah, yes, Mama. You're also announcing your divinity, right? Because you come from the Father. So
announcing your divinity as the Father. That's
exactly.
right.
So okay, so now let's go here. Let's look up this right here, because this is very important. This is where let's get to the cusp of things. The reason why. Now let's really look at it. I'm going to the Blue Letter Bible, okay? And we're going to look at the I am. What are they talking about here? Right? It says, Baba Mungu said to Moses, I am, when he's...
I'm going to type it in right now.
Okay. You typing it? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I got it. I found it.
So in, okay, verses 13 says, when Moses said to Baba Mungu, suppose I go to the Isolele, the Israelites, and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they asked me, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them? Okay, that's what Moses says. Moses says to Baba.
Yeah.
Verses 14.
Yeah.
Baba Mungu says, Baba Mungu said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. So let's look at the I am part. Okay?
Okay.
And we look at the I am part, and you click that.
Okay.
All right. The I am means...
I am. Okay, I'm there.
Right? I am. It says to be means it's present, to be. Become, you're going to become, right? And it says come to pass.
Yes.
Right? It means to exist. It means happen, fall out.
Yes.
You see that? It means...
Yes, I see it.
To happen, to fall out, to occur, to take place, to come about, come to pass. Something that's happened already. To come about.
Something that's happened already.
Okay, come to pass. To come into being. Right? To come into being. And isn't that what happened when Tanzambi breathed into the nostrils of Adam? Right? He came into being. The spirit came in.
Yes, he came into being. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It means to become, to arise, to appear, to come. To become, and very, very important, to become. To become is very, very important. To become alike.
Yeah.
Like. To be instituted, right? Be established. Right? To exist. So it's all about the divinity of Moses. To abide, to remain, to continue. Right? So now let's go back to the passage. Verses 14 says, verses, is it 16?
We started at 15, so we should be on 16 by now.
Yeah, there's a passage that I was reading. I told you guys to remember. I will be. Okay, verses 12 says, and Baba Mungu said, I will be with you, and this will be a sign will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. Right? So as you can look at that I am part when we just looked at, Moses, he is going to fulfill his role. He's going to become, just like his people, just like Baba Mungu's people will become, right? This is their divinity. They will become. They're divine beings. We will become. Moses was a murderer, right? That didn't totally define who he was. He still had to fulfill this purpose, this mission, this thing that him going to the Israelites and him going to the Pharaoh, right? It's more about his divinity. It's more about his transformation. Just like the Israelites. The Israelites eventually became Baba Mungu's people. By the time through Jacob, right? Through Jacob, we were established as his people, right? But Baba Mungu's people had to become a nation through the process that you're going through, the struggles, the suffering, the pains that our people have gone through. This will define us as his children. You understand? And I hope that you guys don't miss this, because this is what it's about, is the transformation.
Wow.
Okay? The transformation of becoming a God, right? Becoming like truly like our Father. This process that we're going through is becoming.
Yes. Wow.
Okay? Very, very important.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful, son.
This is transformation. This is transformation that we are going through as a people, right? Verse 7 says, I've indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt. Well, these are gods amongst the mortal, right? And we have to die like the mortal, right? But it does not end there.
That's powerful. It's not end there.
It doesn't end there. I've heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I'm concerned about their suffering. So I've come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and to bring them out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land of milk flowing with milk and honey, a home of Canaanites, Hittites. Yes, the earthly matters. The earthly matters. Right? But what's important, Baba Mungu tells, I will be with you. I will be with you. This will be the sign to you, Moses, to you. Not to the Israelites first. First to you. First to you. Okay? Because if you cannot acknowledge the divinity of your ancestors, what are you? What are you? If a tree does not recognize its roots, is it a tree? Is it real?
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful.
We got to recognize our divinity, family. Okay?
Powerful revelation. Powerful revelation.
It sounds crazy. I am sent. I am who I am. Tell them I am sent you. Right?
Well, it really doesn't sound crazy, because if he said, I am sent you, they understood. Because you have to realize that this was thousands of years before we were taken away from our culture, from our understanding. When he said, I am sent me, I am that I am, they understood immediately. This is the God of all gods. They understood quickly. It wasn't strange to them. It's strange to us because we're reading a passage that's thousands and thousands of years old, but it wasn't odd to them because they submitted quickly. They said, oh, okay, so Moses is the son and the child of the Most High. So it wasn't foreign to them. It wasn't foreign to them.
Right. So now watch this, Mama. This is where we have to establish, right? That now you notice it says establish, right? You have to establish your divinity. This is the root. This is the root of who you are.
To.
Right? You have to establish.
So powerful. So okay. Powerful.
Verses 13 says, Moses said to Baba Mungu, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, right? Now, suppose I go to the Egyptians. No, he says, suppose I go to the Israelites. Right? This is the foundation of who you are as a being. Suppose, right? Where is it? Suppose I go to the Israelites. Suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of our fathers has sent me to you. And they ask me, what is his name? Then what should I tell them? You see? You understand, Mama, right? He's not asking them anything foreign. Right? Baba Mungu made it.
But he need to come with verification, because we're not going to just listen to anybody. Who sent you? What's his name? Is it a name that we understand? Is it part of our culture that we understand? And he said, who should I tell them that sent me? And he said, tell them,
I am. I am sent. Yeah.
And we still use I am. We still use I am to this day. I am happy. I am sad. I am powerful. I am a God. I am a Bantu. But we always put what in front of that sentence? What do we put in front of that sentence?
I am.
Thank you.
I am. Because I am, I am gives you, locates you on this physical plane. I am also locates you in the spiritual realm.
Yes. Yes. So here's the thing. You can't say I am a Mzungu and have no power. I am a colonizer. I have raped Africa of everything that they are. You can say I am a Muntu. There's your power right there. I am the child of the Most High. There's your power right there. I am like my father. There's your power right there. So I am has to correlate with the power of I am. You understand? I am the child of the Most High. Now there's the power that comes in, because the power comes in to truth. If you say I am a Muntu, I am KONGO. Now you're identifying yourself with Mr. Johnson, who is your father. Mr. Jones, who is your father. So I am is exclusive to his children.
Yes, and this I am connects from generation to generation. Says, this is my name, verse 15. Baba Mungu also said to Moses, say to the Israelites, right? In case you have a hard time with I am part, in case you are having a hard time understanding I am, say to the Israelites, the Lord, the God of your fathers, because remember, you, I, you see? Now listen carefully. Okay.
Yes.
I, Severin, I am a Muluba. Okay? Right? I, Severin, a Muluba. And when I say I, Severin, I am a Muluba, I am representing all those who came before me because there's a connection
Yes. Yes.
that goes back to all of my ancestors.
Yes.
You understand? So this is where
Yes.
in this verses here it says, in case you are having a hard time with I, because that I connects all of the people, and this says, this is my name forever. You see, it,
Wow.
you can't have a tree without roots. I don't know. I don't know how to put it, Mama.
You cannot have a tree without roots. You cannot have a tree without roots. You just can't have a. And our ancestors are our roots. Whew, all glory, all glory, all glory, all glory.
Right. So
when I hear people tell me I will never talk to the ancestors, I will never have a relationship with the ancestors, and I think to myself, then you are cheating yourself.
yeah, they're disconnecting
And
themselves.
you're discounting your ancestors before you. So from this point on, since your voice has gone up to the throne, the ancestors have taken your words up to the throne, and you will be discounted from this point on, unless you repent. Unless you repent. You just can't say anything in the earthly realm and expect to get away from it, because your words does not return to him void. So you have to be very careful what you say and what the angels, our guardian angels, take back to the throne. So they take it back to the throne. If you don't get an understanding and repent, then the consequences that's coming to you are severe. Because that's like me saying, I don't respect my grandmother, and I'm not going to say anything to my grandmother. She doesn't exist. She's dead. Zulu, which is heaven, takes that serious, because the words of our mouth, the meditations of our heart, we ask them to be acceptable in his sight. So so let's flip that. The words of our mouth and the meditations of our heart, if they're not acceptable in his sight, we have a price to pay.
Mm.
You understand? We have a price to pay for the words, because our words are power. Our words travel. Our words are taken by the angels, by the archangels, and our words are set before his throne. So if our words doesn't coincide with his order, his divinity, the things that he has set on this earth, if our words doesn't coincide, we have consequences to pay. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. Be careful what you say. Be careful the allegiance that you allegiance yourself to. Be careful, be very careful, because our words not only leave our house, but they are taken to the throne room. Now, you can pull your words back by repenting for your ignorance, but that's why the Bible says that the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord, my strength and what? My Redeemer.
Yeah. Yeah, Mama. You know, Mama. I think we're gonna. I had a lot of more scriptures to appease people who say, you know, you're not supposed to, we don't talk to our ancestors. You know, you're not supposed to, worship our ancestors. Yeah. You have to worship your ancestors. You have to.
Yes.
You have to
They are
worship your
holy.
ancestors.
When I go into my great grandmother's house, I bend down to my knees to her and I kiss her hand and I say, thank you. Thank you. You held up everything so that I could be born. You went through pain and sorrow so that I can be born, that I'm here. And I honor you and I bless you and I admonish you. So this flipping generation, they have to understand that our ancestors That they not only need honor and respect, but they have been through more things than we will ever go through.
Mm-hmm.
If Baba Mungu prevails and lets things stretch out for another 1,000 years. Because they have been through things, our ancestors have been through things for the past 400 years that some of us will never touch or understand. So when we disrespect to them, the angel says, woe, woe, woe to those has put down their testimony, their tears, their cries, their toil. Be very careful. And I'm saying this to whoever's listening, be very careful disrespecting your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, and your great-great-grandfather who has toiled for the past 400 years on our behalf, on our behalf.
Yeah. Yeah, family, there is a cord that connects all of us, and that cord is the great I am. Okay? He connects all of us forever
All
and
of
ever
us.
and ever. And with that, Mama, I love you. Give me a second here.
I love you. Part two is what is not what me and my son had planned. We put on paper, we're going to do this, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
But this must be. Some things must be said and put out in the, what do you call it? The internet realm? The cyber realm.
The cyberspace. Cyberspace.
Ha! Some things we have to put out in cyberspace that will be out there from generations to come. If we don't put it out there, it will not be put out there. I'm not ashamed for veering from our plans. This was not our plans. This was not our agenda. But Baba Mungu said, say this, say that, say this, say that. Yeah. Because the time is rolling down. If you don't hear it, and if you don't understand it, then you will be caught up in a whirlwind of destruction. Listen now, listen today to what we are saying. And we are coming from the throne. Our words are coming from the throne of Baba Mungu. So if you never heard anything like this, it's okay. But in his infinite grace and his infinite love for his children, he took a moment out to find you, to minister to you, to give information to you, so that you can take this information from generation to generation, to your next generation, that you can teach your children and your children's children.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand what we have taught and what we have proclaimed and what we have said, and the scriptures that we have said, fall on your knees. Fall on your knees before the God that represents you and say, I don't understand this. Is this true? Show me the way, show me the right direction, because the road to destruction is wide. Many go therein. But the road to eternal life, where you return to where you came from, where you return to your ancestors, is narrow. Make no mistake about it. This is not a game. The church plays games. They play games with our emotions. Mm-hmm. They play games with our spirituality.
That's right.
They play games with our knowledge. This is not a game.
Mm-hmm.
This is Baba Mungu getting truth to you. So if you don't listen, that's okay. When I was out on the streets for 10, 15 years, I had my teenagers out there with me, and I was preaching the white Jesus. And when he woke me up to who I am and who I belong to and my divinity, he woke me up in a new birth, like Nicodemus. Nicodemus was born anew that night. I was born anew 10 years ago. And this is not time to play. I'm going to tell you this before I get offline. The enemy is raging. And the enemy wants to take the Bantus out.
Yes,
and if you don't listen to the truth that he's sending down from Zulu, which is heaven, to this earth, if you don't adhere to what he's saying, you will be swept away in a whirlpool. The earth right now will open up and consume you because he is after all of his disobedient children. This is not a time to play. This is not a time to flip him off. This is a time if you have to fall on your knees and say, if I have done anything to dishonor you, if I have done anything to discredit you, if I have done anything that's not like you, forgive me. And this is the last word I'm going to say to whoever's listening. This is the time for you to seek the ultimate truth of our culture and who we are. Not by the narrative of the Mzungus, of the white man. I don't call them man. I call them white boys.
My mom's on fire today. I love it. Very true,
we have to flip. We have to flip from what the white boy has told us about our culture, our divinity, who we are. We have to come out of darkness and awake from this sleep and say, Tata Nzambi, show me the way. Show me the way. If this is wrong, if I have, like David said, if I have sinned against you, you only have I sinned against. We are too proud to say that prayer. David said it thousands of years ago. If I have done anything to not only discredit you, if I have done anything that dishonors you, forgive me. It is time for the Bantus to come out of the church, put on sackcloth. We need to fast. He said, I don't want your heart. I don't want your clothes. I want your heart. So Baba Mungu wants our heart. He wants us to bow down to him as the God of Zulu, which is heaven, and say, forgive me. If there's anything that I've done that offended you, forgive me. That's all he wants from us. We're his children. The prodigal son, the Bible says the prodigal son came to himself.
Came to his senses.
Said, in my father's house, in my father's house.
That's right.
The swine, the pigs eat better than me. Let me go back to my father's house. It's time for the Muntus to go back to our father's house, to take back our divinity, to take back who we are.
Yeah, but Mama, that was one of the scriptures that we were going to share with you, family. The prodigal son, he came to his senses.
He came to himself. That means he came to his senses.
Yes, and he realized.
Wake up, Bantu.
Yes, he realized his divinity. Okay, so whenever somebody says, when we say we're kings and queens, what we're talking about is our divinity. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
You know, I do not have many years on this earth. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm 72 years old. My oldest son is 53. So my sons are in their 40s and 50s. I have many stepchildren that are in their 50s and 60s. I have one stepson is 60. See, I was 26 when I met him, and he was 21. But this is not the time on this earth to play games with the truth that Baba Mungu is sending to the earth. And if you don't understand the truth, and if you're confused because the church has confused you, get on your knees. And I'll say it again. Get on your knees and repent to him. And so there's anything like you that does not please you, forgive me. Show me the way. Because he will show you the way to the narrow road. The road to destruction is wide and many go therein. Mm-hmm. But the road to eternal life is narrow. Few go therein. Mm-hmm. Amen?
Amen.
So this is not a game we're playing. This is not a podcast that we're just putting out there. We ask people to comment. They won't comment. Why? Because the Bantu people are stiff-necked. They will not support you, but they want you to support them. Stop. If we don't come together in unity, we will be swept away because Baba Mungu is watching us as his children to come together in a unit so that we can change the realms of our oppressors. The oppressors, they rule in unity. What one says, the other one agrees. But with the Bantus, we are stiff-necked. If we ask you to comment, 67 people will view, and I'm on a tyrant right now, forgive me. 67 people will view the video, not one will comment. And you know, I'm gonna tell you something. Tata the Zombie is watching you in your stiff neck. You can say I agree or I don't agree. This is no game. He's watching who he can gather as an army. And because you don't know how to unite, the Mzungus have taught us how to stay divided. And if you can't unite, and I'm going to cry in a minute, if you can't unite, I'm talking about the Nabis, I'm talking about the preachers, the one who has their following. If you cannot do a simple thing as unite and leave a comment, Tata Nzambi is watching you. And this is not a game to him. It might be a game to you, but it's not a game to you. Because in order for him to bring his people together, his people have to be united. That's how we fell. Because we were not united. We were not as one. So this 72-year-old woman is talking to whoever refuses to comment. Tata the Zombie is watching. He's watching your heart. He's watching your jealousy. He's watching everything that's inside of you. You can comment and say, I agree, I disagree. But the Bantu, listen to me now. The Bantus as a culture has not learned to unite yet. We look at your videos, we look at your teachings, we comment, we unite, we agree, we come together. But when a brother like Silverback is putting out quality, you won't unite. You won't unite. You won't put a thumbs up. You won't say I agree, I disagree. You know what? He is going to separate the wheat from the tares. And that's all I'm going to say. Are you the wheat? Are you the tare?
Yeah, family. Mama, you are on fire today. You're on fire. Obviously, this topic is it's pretty touchy. You know, when it comes down to not acknowledging our ancestors, and I agree with you on that part, Mama. We are a people, we don't acknowledge the past. I don't see how you can move forward if you don't really understand your past. You know, you've got to take root. You got to recognize your divinity, family. You got to recognize your divinity. We are a divine people. And we are a people, like the Father says, when he came, and remember, in that passage, The Father came to Moses. Moses didn't go looking for the Father. The Father came to Moses. Why? Because he belonged to his people. That's why he came to Moses. Okay? And Moses recognized the Father. He recognized the divine. This is why Moses was selected, because he belonged to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He belonged. He's from the lineage. So we as a people, we've got to recognize our divinity. Then we can move forward. Okay? If we don't recognize our divinity, we don't exist. I'm sorry, family. Okay? You don't recognize your past, you don't exist. You don't. You have no root. If you don't have root, no one's going to take you serious. We don't, listen, a tree has to have roots. And every tree has a lineage. Every individual that comes in this world has a lineage. If you don't recognize your past, you can't go. Listen, when I got to that scripture, the first scripture Mama showed us, and I've been thinking about it for quite some time. If you don't recognize that I am yourself, how can you connect yourself with your ancestors? Right? A lost people don't know their history. That's a lost people. So if you don't recognize yourself as a Tatanzambi's child, if you don't recognize your divinity, I'm sorry, there will be no force. You will not have the power to change anything. Okay? First, you got to recognize who you are. Then changes will come. Okay? That's the process. And perhaps next time we'll be able to go deeper into those who we call ancestors, right? That was just one passage. There's many passages where the Baba Mungu says, "I'm the God of your father, or I'm the God of your ancestors." He's said it so many times. There's so many times in the scriptures. Why don't you, family, go look at those scriptures and have some introspection as to why the Creator wants us to focus on that He's the God of our ancestors. Why is He bringing you to that attention? What is He saying? Okay, so family, I thank you for coming today. I think this part 2 really got really Mama. This particular topic really got to you today. I think Mama got disconnected. I think she got disconnected. But family, thank you for coming. Make sure you subscribe.
I did not get disconnected. I did not. Let me tell you something. I do not have many days hence on this earth. I'm 72 years old. So that means the baton has been passed to you, your generation. Let me tell you something. I have no more patience with this generation, because this generation is asleep. They're pulling the covers up over their head. They're saying, "Oh, we don't believe this. We don't believe that," and they're not researching. They're not understanding what Baba Mungu is sending to this generation. So what I said and what I believe and what I ranted over might be my last words. I might fall asleep in my life and transition over with the ancestors. But what I said, I meant, and what I said will pass through the ages. Someone will pick up this video a year, 5 years, 10 years ago, and they will say, "Oh, what happened to Mother Bantu? She has transitioned over." But I meant every word I said, because I am tired. You hear what I'm saying to you? I'm tired.
Yeah, I hear you, Mama. I hear you.
because I am at the time where I have seen enough. I was born in 1951. So I went through tragedies in 61, 71, 81, 91, 2001. And I'm tired of the Bantus sleeping, ignoring the information that's coming their way. I am tired of the leaders that are self-serving. I'm tired. So if anyone doesn't like what I'm saying, comment. Come and go toe to toe with Mother Bantu.
Yes, Mama.
And I don't apologize for anything I said today. Because Severin, I always tell you I'm tired.
I know.
I'm tired. I'm just tired. I'm tired.
I know, Mama. Baba Mungu is going to lift you up tonight and tomorrow. You will be refreshed. You have nice sleep, and tomorrow we'll come back at it. It's a fight.
We'll come back at it. You know, you and I, we always start afresh in the morning.
Yeah.
I love my my son from Angola who's stuck in Jersey. I love my son.
Yeah.
But I am not that type of, I am not tired physically. I'm tired spiritually. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm tired spiritually because in the 70 years that I've been on this earth, and I hope my sons are listening, they know that I have toiled, I have been kind, I have been generous, I have given my all in all, I have given my substance, and I have given everything that I have, but people don't get it. They still want to debate. They still want to prove you wrong. And here is Tata Nzambi giving us in this generation our last chance to either come to him or go to the enemy. Come to him as his children or go to the enemy. That's the type of tired I am. I can go to sleep right now and sleep well. I'm not physically tired. I'm spiritually tired. I'm tired of our people not wanting to unite, not wanting to support one another, not wanting to lift each other up. I'm tired. I've seen it for 70 years. I'm tired. Wake up, Bantus. We will never get anything done, Severin, Silverback, unless we unite. Unless we unite.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need sleep. I get plenty of rest. I don't need rest. I get plenty of rest. But I'm tired of the Bantu nation, our culture that has all of the power of Baba Mungu. We have all of his power. We walk in the same power that he's given us. I'm tired of us as Bantus slumbering, sleeping, not awake, don't want to listen to sound doctrine, don't want to listen to the information of the biddies, of the elders. I'm an elder, and I'm tired of trying to get this message across, and no one will come and be a part. No one has the decency to say, Mama asked us to comment, I'm going to comment. You know what your comment can be? Hello.
Don't worry, Mama, they're coming. They are coming, Mama. As we know our people.
Coming. They're coming, but a lot of stiff-necked Bantus is going to be taken away.
Yeah. Yeah,
Have no doubt about that, because we have been stiff-necked for thousands of years. We don't want to unite. We don't want to support one another. We don't want to give a thumbs up to another. We don't want to comment and say, I listened to your podcast today. Good job, bad job. I didn't want to do it. We don't want to come together as Bantus. And this has been happening for thousands of years. Hello? This is why we're in the place that we are now, because we refuse to unite.
Mm. Yeah.
So I love you.
Love you more.
I honor you.
Mm-hmm.
You are the one that was sent to me that I can rant and rave to you. Not only do you calm me down, but you give me biblical insight of things that I can't see. You are a treasure to be treasured. I'm going to say it on this podcast. You are one of the end time warriors, the end time kings that was sent to us to give us information, to shake us awake from our slumber. Because you think outside of the box, and you've always thinking outside of the box. And I love you for that. I love that I'm a part of your podcast. But you think I'm fire on this podcast? Watch me on the streets of Kenya.
Come on, Mama. Come on.
I'm 72 years old. They think I'm 55. They think I'm 60. They have no idea my age. Because it's not a time to play. We are dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're hungry. We have nothing.
Yeah.
They're taking our resources. They're taking our divinity. They're taking everything from us. This is no time to play. I do not want to play online. I don't come to your Narrowcast to play. Are you kidding me? I don't even have to come on your podcast. My mission is on the streets of Kenya. My mission is in my doctor's office, in the political office. I talk to political men. I talk to judges. I talk to the political world. I talk to professors. I don't talk to the little man. I talk to the big man. Because you know what? I'm 72 years old. I am not afraid to step up to you. And let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's going on. So my assignment is powerful. And this is what people don't understand. He brought me to Kenya to make a change, to shake the ground. And I might leave this realm and go with my ancestors. But let me tell you something. I have made a mark in Kenya for the past 3 years because I get the text of people's lives that I have changed.
Yeah. Mama, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Family, there's been other narrowcasts where I've expressed the same way you expressed, Mama. It's a frustration sometimes where you feel like people are just not getting it. It's just not, the information is not ringing true. It seems like it, but what you're expressing, Mama, many people feel the same way, but they do it in their homes quietly. They do,
Yes.
we have a thing where we suffer alone quietly,
Oh, for us.
you understand what I'm saying? we do. We don't want to look a certain way before people. We it's just the things that are backward. So family, judgment is going to fall on nations when we speak judgment.
Wow.
When we speak judgment, and judgment went upon Egypt when Moses went before Pharaoh and spoke judgment. So these things weren't done in remote area. It wasn't done in secret. This was in public, right? Judgment is going to be evident. It's not something that's done in secret. When Tata Nzambi strikes judgment on a nation, it's going to be visual. You're going to see judgment. As we're seeing it, for those who have eyes, they can see what's taking place, right? So we've got to claim our divinity. You got to claim your divinity in order for you to be a vehicle.
Let him who has ears hear. Let him who has eyes see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, for you to be an instrument for the Father, you have to claim your divinity. And you also have to claim your ancestors. There's a connection. Okay? Now, if there is no ancestors, and this is going to be the last thing I'm going to say to you. If there is no ancestors, there is no account. You understand? If there is no ancestors, there is no judgment.
Wow.
Okay?
Come on, son. Tell the truth.
So if you don't recognize your ancestors, there's no future. Because the Father went into the future, he went before Moses, and he told him about his ancestors. So he took him back in order for him to realize where he's going forward, for him to be, for him to realize, in order for it to be a prophecy, there has to be a past. Right? So I just don't understand how people I don't recognize the ancestors, they recognize this. Yeah, but so you only recognize the ancestors in the Bible, not your real ancestors? I don't get it. These people are stuck in the Bible, man. This Christianity thing has to come to an end. But
Christianity, I'm going to say this before I go, because I'm tired. I want to crawl in the bed. I'm sitting at my desk for 3 hours and I'm tired. My bones are tired. I've been sitting at the desk for 4 hours now. But I want to say this, we are spiritually tired. We are spiritually spent. We as the children of the ancestors, we want this thing to be over. We want this thing to end because we're tired. We're tired of pleading. We're tired of giving our information. We're tired of giving truth. We're just tired. And Tata Nzambi knows that we are tired. How long? I'm like the ancestors. How long? How long will you revenge us? And the ancestors have been waiting for thousands of years to be avenged. And we have millions. You hear what I'm saying to you? We have millions of ancestors who toiled, who was tortured, who was mistreated, who was stripped of their culture, who was beaten, who was thrown into the sea, who was raped, who was mistreated. Thousands of them. And we are saying, and I'm getting to the age where I'm saying, how long? How long will you avenge us? And you know what Tata told me the other day? It's coming, my daughter. Be patient, settle down, and go to sleep. Rest. I have this under control. Because nothing takes Baba Mungu or Zulu, which is heaven, by surprise. Everything is clocked by time. So he is warning us that the time is rolling to an end. If you could call on the outside, you will call on the outside and you will be destroyed. If you repent and renounce the things that you have been taught, that's not biblical, that's not our culture, then you will be saved. So what Tata Nzambi always tell me, go to sleep and rest, my daughter. It's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of times that I am so frustrated, I can't sleep. And I'm crying. And I'm saying, how many times do I have to read about the Mzungus in America killing my son? How much longer? I can't take this anymore. He said, rest. Rest. I have all of this under control. Rest as a mother, because I am Rachel, crying for her children. And Tough the Zombie tells me, he says, rest. I have all of this under control. I have not only all of this under control, but I hear Rachel crying for her children. Rachel is still crying for her children until we are redeemed. Make no doubt about it. We are in the end times. Baba Mungu will avenge us, his children, and not many days hence. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to sign off now. But in not many days hence, he will avenge his children.
Ingata. Family. Ingata. Thank you. May Baba Mungu bless your every step. May the Creator protect your family. May the Creator allow his light to be upon us, to restore us, restore our divinity, allow us to be the vessels that he wants us to be. May Baba Mungu protect our children from these degenerate spirits, these wicked spirits.
Yeah.
May
Come on now.
Satan Zambi may Baba Mungu pour his spirit on his children for them to defend themselves against these wicked spirits. May Baba Mungu protect our community. May he uplift us. May he remove the curtain of confusion. May we be a one in spirit. May we work together. May we love one another. I thank you, Mama. I love you. I thank you for your good work. I thank you for all the efforts that you've put before the Father here on earth. I thank you, Mama. I thank you so much. And family, with that I say good day, good evening, good night. Inget. Bye-bye.
Ingeta.